Heck of a week here on First Take, but it hasn't been such a good week for Giannis Antetokounmpo, who was officially ruled out of tonight's matchup with the Brooklyn Nets, the Bucks' final home game of the season. He had made a request to play one final time, potentially, in Milwaukee with his brothers, Giannis and Alex. That is not going to be granted for the rest of this season. Who knows about the future? But David, the way this has all been handled, I know you have an interesting take about the Bucks versus Giannis saga.
I'm glad Perk is here to witness this because Giannis and the Bucks front office are suffering from a chronic case of failing to stand on business. And as a result, they have wasted 365 days of all of our lives because this should have been handled last summer when Giannis wanted to leave Milwaukee but did not want to look like the bad guy. And Milwaukee should have moved on from Giannis to get as many picks as they could, but did not want to look like the bad organization. They didn't want to look like bad guys. They didn't want their fans to be miserable. They didn't want to hate each other. A year later, both of them look like the bad guys. Their fans hate them, and they hate each other. And Giannis, midway through the season, is putting double thumbs down to his own fans. They are not winning any games. Giannis is injured. His stock has fallen a little bit in terms of their return for what they can get from him. And everybody in the Milwaukee metropolitan area is miserable and more miserable than they would have been last year if everybody had made peace, moved on from each other, let Giannis go try to win a championship, let Milwaukee get as many draft picks as they could, build to the future, start building his statue, start hanging his jersey, and leave peacefully. Instead, this has become an ugly divorce because they wanted to stay together for the kids, and the kids being the fans, and everybody's miserable.
That's cute. No, it's not an easy decision to make to trade Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I won't say that Giannis messed it up. I might say the New York Knicks messed it up by trading all their draft capital for Mikal Bridges because had they held on to it, had they not gotten a little too thirsty, they would have had the draft capital that the Milwaukee Bucks would have wanted. Giannis would be in New York, and this would be a totally different ballgame. But I'm with you. This is, like I said before, I love R&B breakup songs. Neither one of us wants to be the first to say goodbye. That's all.
Perk, you got a little Gladys Knight in you too?
I got a lot. Gladys Knight, Isley Brothers. But listen, here's the thing. This relationship has run its course. I agree with Vinny and David when you talk about holding on too long. This should have happened before this season. The trade should have happened. They should have parted ways. It should have happened at the trade deadline. Now, here's the problem.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we are talking about the biggest what-if story in the NBA. Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks are in the middle of an ugly divorce that everyone saw coming a year ago. The analysts on First Take are breaking down how both sides messed this up, why the Knicks are the biggest winners, and why the Bucks will never just hand Giannis over to New York. Let me get into it. First, the context. Giannis was officially ruled out of the Bucks' final home game of the season. He had requested to play one final time in Milwaukee with his brothers Giannis and Alex. That request was denied. And now, the entire situation has become a mess. David, one of the analysts, says the Bucks and Giannis are suffering from a chronic case of failing to stand on business. He says this should have been handled last summer when Giannis wanted to leave Milwaukee but did not want to look like the bad guy. And Milwaukee should have moved on from Giannis to get as many picks as they could, but they did not want to look like the bad organization. They did not want their fans to be miserable. A year later, both of them look like the bad guys, their fans hate them, and they hate each other. David points out that Giannis has been putting double thumbs down to his own fans. The Bucks are not winning games. Giannis is injured. His stock has fallen a little bit in terms of what they can get for him. And everybody in the Milwaukee metropolitan area is more MI. Cerebral than they would have been last year if everyone had made peace, moved on, let Giannis go try to win a championship, and let Milwaukee get as many draft picks as they could. Instead, this has become an ugly divorce because they wanted to stay together for the kids being the fans. And everyone is miserable. Vinny, another analyst, says it is not an easy decision to trade Giannis Antetokounmpo. He says the New York Knicks messed it up by trading all their draft capital for Mikal Bridges. Had they held onto it, had they not gotten a little too thirsty, they would have had the draft capital that the Bucks would have wanted. Giannis would be in New York, and this would be a totally different ballgame. He compares the situation to an R&B breakup song. Neither one wants to be the first to say goodbye. Then Perk jumps in. He says he agrees with Vinny and David. This relationship has run its course. The trade should have happened before this season. It should have happened at the trade deadline. But nobody wanted to be the bad guy. Perk says Giannis would not have looked like the bad guy if he had come out publicly and said he wanted out. Why? Because he has done everything and more for that organization and the city of Milwaukee on and off the floor. He delivered a championship. He won MVP. He won Defensive Player of the Year. He won Finals MVP. And look at the growth of the city. New arena. New condos. New restaurants. All because of Giannis. Perk puts Giannis in the same conversation as LeBron and Steph when you talk about powerful over popular. Powerful players move the needle from an economic standpoint. But Perk says the relationship is over. He does not want to go into next season talking about Giannis and the Bucks. It has to be over. And then he drops a bombshell. He says the biggest winner in all of this is the New York Knicks. He says the Knicks are playing with house money this postseason because they know that Giannis wants to be in New York. So they can go make a run and try to win an NBA championship. And if they fall short, they have enough pieces to go trade for Giannis and run it back for the next 2 or 3 years with him and Jalen Brunson leading the charge. But another analyst pushes back hard on that. He says he does not think the Knicks are playing with house money. He points out that the Knicks fired their coach last year because they did not get to the finals. Karl-Anthony Towns is under pressure. Mikal Bridges is under pressure. You cannot wait on Giannis with the health issues he has had since winning that title. He has had years where he did not play in the playoffs. He has had years like this year where he is battling calf injuries. To assume that he is going to be at premium health by waiting a year, or to assume that the Bucks are going to hand him over to you just because you are the Knicks, is a fool's errand. There are a lot of other teams that have draft picks and assets that they could trade high. M2. If you are the Knicks, you better focus on handling your own damn business. That is the key point. The Bucks are never going to just hand Giannis over to the Knicks. They are going to shop him to the highest bidder. And there will be plenty of bidders. The Oklahoma City Thunder have a treasure chest of draft picks. The Houston Rockets have young assets. The Miami Heat always find a way. The Brooklyn Nets have cap space and picks. The Knicks are not the only team that wants Giannis. And they are not the only team that can put together a competitive offer. So where does that leave the Bucks? They are stuck. They have a superstar who wants out, a roster that is not winning, and a fan base that is turning on them. They should have traded him last summer. They should have traded him at the deadline. Now, they are going into the off-season with a disgruntled star, a diminished trade market, and no good options. The Knicks, on the other hand, have a chance to make a deep playoff run this year. And if they do not, they can pivot to trying to acquire Giannis. But they are not the only ones. And the Bucks are not going to do them any favors. Perk says the relationship is over. And he is right. The only question now is where Giannis goes and what the Bucks get in return. The Knicks are the favorites because Giannis wants to be there. But wanting and getting are two different things. The Bucks are going to take the best offer. And if the Knicks cannot put together the best offer, Giannis is going somewhere else. So here is my question to you in the comments. Where does Giannis end up? Is it New York? Or does another team swoop in and steal him? And what should the Bucks do this offseason? Let me know. I read every single comment. As always, like, subscribe, hit that bell. We are building something special here. I will see you in the next one.